so think for a minute what happens when you go down a slide when you're a kid. Okay, you're climbing up the slide, and maybe that's, you know, your speed is the same, but you still have some speed going on. You're not at a complete standstill, okay? Then you get to the top, and there's no speed at all because maybe you're waiting for another kid to go down, or you have to sit down. So it takes a couple of seconds for you to sit down. Then as you're going down the slide, your speed accelerates, right? Until you get to the very, very bottom when you level off and boom, you're done, okay? So which one of these describes what I just said? This one looks like a slide. Okay, so that's not it. So let's talk about the speed. You're walking up, and then your speed comes to a dead stop. This is when you're at the top of the slide. Then you get on the slide, boom, until you get to the point where you start to slow down until your speed is at 0, and that is when you're at the bottom of the slide. So it's this one. So I had to think for a minute. That one was kind of tricky. All right, so let's look at this. I know this is kind of small, I apologize. But it says, Allison took a bike ride. These graphs show the relationship between time and her distance away from home. Okay, so this is home down here. There's her house. Her little tiny house with a chimney. Okay, and this is how far away she is and how much time has gone by. So it looks to me like Allison, maybe she's going somewhere. Allison rides away from her home. Kind of slow, right? Because she's a lot of time's going by. So this is where we have one spot where it kind of changes. So what's happening here? Let's say that she finds some friends. She sees friends, and her distance is the same. So she stops and talks for a while. Remember, this isn't speed we're talking about, this is distance we're talking about. Then, all of a sudden, boom, she goes fast and she goes away from her house. So maybe her friends say she hurries to a friend's house. To a friend's house. Okay, so I just kind of made up a story about what's going on. So she rides her bike a little bit far, and then she stops and talks to friends, and then maybe a friend says, "Hey, come to my house. Let's go quick and get some ice cream." And she goes to a friend's house. Okay? And I know if you've looked at the worksheet, you know that there's some on there that's like this, some problems that are like this. Okay, so we've got the same story. Allison is on her bike. Okay, but this time, so her house is down here again. Okay, and this time she starts off. Maybe Allison is at a friend's house. So Allison is at a friend's house. So she's away from home. Okay. Then she's riding away from her home. So even farther. So she starts away from her home and she goes farther. So she rides a little farther away from home. Okay, then, holy smokes, she goes really fast. She rides quickly closer to home. And then maybe she stops at a different park, okay? Then she stops, and you don't have to be this specific, but then she stops at a park for a while. Okay? So I think these are kind of fun because you look at the graph and you figure out your own little story of what's going on. Okay, so with this problem, what they would want you to do, and I know I don't have any try these, they're kind of hard when you've got graphs and stuff, but I think you guys probably are catching up on this. Okay, so draw a graph that shows Allison starting from home, racing on her bike to her friend's house, staying there for a while, and then taking a slow bike ride home. So she starts at home, she's going to end up at home, but first she goes to her friend's very, very quickly. So she got there quick. Then she stays there for a while, they watched a movie or something, and then mom texted, you need to come home now. She's like, dang it. And she wasn't in any rush, so now she just goes nice and slow until she is home. So that is what that would look like. Okay, that is all I have for you. This was a pretty quick lesson, but now you should be able to do your 0.4 worksheet if you haven't already. Thank you.